Hello everyone, it's session 21 on our thriller narrative. So today we're doing a new learning, parentheses with commas to extend sentences. So today you're going to be learning how to use parentheses at the end of sentences. You already know how to do this with dashes. Today we're going to do it with commas. Parentheses with commas can be used to manipulate the information in the sentence. The easiest way to think about parentheses with commas is to remember how they are used for fronted adverbials. So, for example, in this next sentence you can see that the fronted adverbial is feeling anxious. So it's a fronted adverbial of manner, and we've got it at the beginning because it's a fronted adverbial. It explains how Bubba trudged on behind. Now we can manipulate this part of the sentence and actually, instead of having it at the beginning, we can shove it at the end. So you pick it up and you pop it on the end, you get rid of the end of sentence full stop, instead you make that into a comma, and then you get rid of your capital letter, and then you have a lowercase, and then instead of the comma at the end, you use a full stop. So let's have a look what that looks like. So here, I've got a capital letter, a comma, and a full stop. So what happens is that the full stop at the end of behind is changed into a comma. My capital letter for feeling is changed into a lowercase f, and my comma at the end of anxious is changed into a full stop, so that the entire fronted adverbial, feeling anxious, now goes at the very end of the sentence, and the sentence reads, Bubba trudged on behind, feeling anxious. My noun is Bubba, he still remains the same, and my verb, trudged, remains the same, and I've got this prepositional phrase, on behind, and that also remains the same. So there are lots of different fronted adverbials that we can use normally. We know that there are time, manner, place, frequency and degree, but actually when we're doing this we really only focus on 4. So pause the video and have a look at the manner, place, frequency and degree examples. So I'll read the first one aloud to you and then you can read the next ones yourself. So for manner, the fronted adverbial caught on the head of the valve could be moved to the end so that the sentence reads, it had blown to the far side of the tank and hung there, comma, caught on the head of the valve, full stop. Read the rest yourself and then press play when you're ready to continue. Okay. So your task is to manipulate the following sentences and change them from using fronted adverbials to parentheses at the end. So every sentence is complete and has got a fronted adverbial. You're just going to follow the steps to success to show how to move it. It's a nice, easy, quick task. So the first job is identify the fronted adverbial. So you can see I've done that for you here, and it says yelping with each movement as the burning surface seared, comma. That's my fronted adverbial. Step 2 is to put a comma at the end of the main clause, not a full stop. So in the main clause, we had this full stop here, but you can see now it's been made into a comma because I don't want that full stop. So I've also had to make sure that here I've used a capital letter instead because I've started my sentence. So my main clause is he dropped on his hands and knees and crept to the side of the tank, comma. My next task is to write the information that was in the fronted adverbial after my main clause, but I can't use a capital letter. So here is my fronted adverbial, and here it is now. But as you will see that I don't have a capital letter here because it's no longer the start of the sentence. I'm going to end it with a full stop here rather than the comma that was originally there. So have another look at this again before you begin if you need to, but right now it's time for you to independently change your sentences so that the fronted adverbial is moved to create parentheses at the end. Here are your sentences: feeling lonely and vulnerable, comma, Bubba begrudgingly climbed into the tank, comma, where it be shaded from the glare of the unforgiving sun. Don't get confused here with the relative clause. Make sure you've identified the fronted adverbial. Then I've got C, suddenly something moved way up at the top of the tower. D, calling and waving the shorts, comma, Bubba stuck his head straight out of the tank before grinning wildly. And E, deep in the tank the water eddied and swirled. Pause the video now and have a go yourself and then press play when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, so answer time. Get your purple font ready so you can edit and improve your work. Here we go, here are the right answers. The bits that are highlighted are your fronted adverbials that have been moved to the end to create parentheses with commas. Please check your punctuation with mine, making sure you've got no silly capital letters anywhere and that there are only the commas and full stops in the places where they should be. Edit and improve your work before you hand it in.